Have you ever wondered how IRA distributions work? We spend all of our working lives working, saving, putting money into the IRAs, whether they're a traditional IRA that's tax deductible or a traditional IRA that's not tax deductible or a Roth IRA or a simple IRA or a SEP IRA. And we work and we put the money. We work and we save and we work and we save. How do we get the money out? What's the best way to get it out? What's the best time to get it out? What are the rules around getting it out? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So, here we go. As I said, most retirees, or almost retirees, have spent their whole life putting the money into the IRAs and don't know how to think about getting the money out. Withdrawal strategies can save taxes big time. So here we go. Here are the biggest mistakes that retirees make. Most people believe that the goal is to leave your IRA that money in your IRA until you absolutely have to take it out. Maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong. You never know. But you have to look at your whole strategy. It's not because the thing is, hopefully you have an IRA account, you have maybe a Roth IRA account, you have Social Security to take, you have other traditional assets that you've saved over time. So all of those are taxed differently, and looking at those all together really can make a huge difference in your retirement income and how you pay tax on it. So here's the thing I want you to think about. Just because the IRS lets you wait until 73 or 75 doesn't mean that that's when you should wait till, because there are tax benefits for taking it out early. A little bit counterintuitive, isn't it? But it works really, really well that way. So let me introduce you to the concept of the gap years. So the gap years are the years between the time you retire and the time you have to take IRA distributions, or the time you have to take Social Security income. So it doesn't make any sense for you to not take Social Security after age 70, because there's no actual benefit for waiting any longer than age 70. We can do a whole nother video series on Social Security benefits, but just think about that. At age 70, you really should be taking your Social Security benefits. Some people take their Social Security benefits before that, at 65 or 67 or somewhere in between. But there's benefits of waiting until 70. But there's definitely benefits of waiting until 73 or 75 to take your IRA, but you might want to look at it and see what makes sense for you. So in these gap years, what you have is, so you've retired. Let's say you retire at 65 and you're of the age, let's say you're born in 1962. You retire at 65 and you don't have to take your required minimum distribution until 75. So there's 10 years between the time that you retire and the time you have to take your first required minimum distribution. Some people need the money right away. And so if you need the money right away, absolutely take it. But some people don't. And so they think, well, we're just going to let it accumulate until 75. But if you look at the overall taxable income in those gap years, and let's say your taxable income is really low in those gap years, you don't have a wage income, you have your investment income, you don't have any retirement income, and you don't have any Social Security income. So your tax bracket could be really low. And then come 75, when you have to take your required minimum distribution, then you're in a really high tax bracket. And so if you can take some of that income in those gap years and use up some of the lower brackets, because they're graduated brackets, remember, yet they go from 10 to 12 to 24 to 32 to 35 to 37. So you want to use some of those lower brackets for some of that money, even if you don't need it. And then what you can do is You can put that money away into regular savings accounts, or even better, maybe do a Roth IRA conversion, meaning you take your distributions from your traditional IRA and then contribute them into a Roth IRA. And then you have money growing tax-free. So there's lots of different ways to look at this, and every situation is different. Everybody's investment philosophy is different. So what we love to do is sit down with clients and say, let's talk about what your goals are. Let's talk about all the different kinds of accounts you have. Let's talk about what you think your lifespan is going to be. Let's think about what your Social Security benefits are, all those things, and put a true retirement plan in place for your cash flow. And that will provide you with financial clarity and confidence for today and for life.